What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have an exciting video. We are going to talk about refrigerators. No, I'm just kidding. So we're gonna have kind of a open discussion with myself, and you guys can listen and feel free to shoot in the comments on things you'll be looking at. But we're gonna cover one stock that has just been flying for the past few days. We do have a holiday tomorrow for July 4th, so the markets will not be open. So I wanted to get this out today, and I also have kind of a watch list. I'm going to cover a few stocks that I'm not in. Also wanted to introduce you to my shark companion here. This is my mascot that I picked up at Legoland. I thought it was really cool. I was like, oh, wow. So feel free if you want to help me name them. Let's go. I was like Sharknado, Sharktastic. I mean, OTC Shark, whatever. Let's have some fun with it. So, but throw all that aside, let's get into the video. Okay, so we're going to cover several stocks today. Like I said, a couple of them I'm not in. One that's just been completely flying the past couple of days. And the first one we're going to talk about is GCLT. So I didn't even know what was happening with this stock. I was literally driving to New York on Thursday, and someone messaged me and said, hey, this stock's getting a lot of volume. I think they have news coming. And I'm like, okay. I looked at it instantly. I pulled over and I'm like, okay, I'll grab some. And then I literally sat there for probably 25 seconds just putting bids in below just to see what would fill. And luckily they all filled because this thing just ripped for days. So that thing is GCLT, Game Clients Inc. So as you can see here, I mean, held at DCC, it's 102 million. So we'll call the float about 102 million. Now this thing has just been flying up the chart, Thursday and Friday. So the company had stated recently that they had, exciting events happen. I'll pull up their Twitter as well. But I mean, you can see accumulations all-time high, 2 days of heavy volume, and, wick down, filled the gap on Friday. RSI is definitely hot, but because it is a smaller float, this thing could literally run for days and days and days. As we saw with TXTM, would that run for 5 days straight, just continuous, before cooling off. So the thing that's exciting about this one is the company is very active. They've just been hammering, even over the weekend, like we have exciting things coming. We have 1,000% revenue increase. We have this, we have that. So definitely do your own due diligence on it. I still haven't even had time to really look heavily into the company. I've basically been, relying all on chairman, our buddy that, kind of found it or, pushed it or whatever he did. But, he's out there grinding it, and pull up their Twitter here as well. So, they've been saying since, for a couple of days now, just to clarify our last tweet, a handful of major updates coming in July. So they have a bunch of stuff coming in July. So it's not just like a one and done. So this is one that you can really swing further, maybe all of July, maybe for the rest of the year, depending, what they're going to have. If they start saying they have acquisitions, they have asset purchases, they have all kinds of exciting news. I mean, on a 100 mil float, we've seen other 100 mil floats. We saw OWUV. That thing was at 70 million, I think 40, 70 million, and it ran to what, 60 cents. So being that it's at 3 cents now, does it need to call off? Sure. Will it happen Tuesday? Maybe not. Will it happen next week? Who knows? But we want to see what the company has to offer. So, and the cool thing about it is they say the day keeps getting better. We got invited for an interview with OTC expert chairman, our buddy here. And then also you want to check out Stock Trader's due diligence on this, as it goes pretty in depth. So he's actually going to be doing an interview with the CEO. I think it was for tomorrow, but it might be pushed till Tuesday because tomorrow's a holiday. I'm not too sure yet, but my guess is they might push it till Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday after market, or what have you. But as you can see, I mean, they've just been hammering tweet after tweet after tweet. So we definitely want to see some PRs come to fruition. But, the fact this thing's ran 500% over just 2 days, and that's what can happen on a very tiny float. But, they have strong day yesterday, booked one of the top 4 title companies in the USA, makes good for a fourth for sure. That's a wrap, back-to-back best quarters. And then we like to iterate no reverse split, no unnecessary dilution. We have more reveals planned in the interview coming up. So they've got a lot going on. So definitely keep this one on your radar. It's hard to say, yes, go out and buy it. But, with this, from what I'm seeing, because the RSI is hot, what might happen is maybe Tuesday, it'll gap up some, fill the gap, and then it might even close at high of the day. So, this is a good one to support if they have a lot of exciting things happen. So I definitely want to see what they have. I have shares of this. I actually was like, I'll throw in some support bids on Friday, sitting at Legoland. They all filled, and then the stock went and hit 52-week highs again. So, it's good stuff. I love that everybody's excited about it. It's one to definitely follow. Look at their, customer list and so forth. So, love that one. Let's see if it continues. Let's have Chairman and Kanye do their interviews, see what they can bring to the table, see what they can squeeze out of the CEO, and see what exciting things are coming in July that could push this thing to just insane levels. So, glad we covered that, and we'll probably cover it again, depending on what happens, and, when a little bit more DD pronounces itself. So the second one I'm going to talk about today is UMGP, Universal Media Group. So this is one that I actually knew about last year, and it was like $3, and I was like, oh wow, it's an exciting stock. They have a lot of deals with, celebrities and NFTs, and they're trying to do this, and films, and UFC, and all this crazy stuff. But $3, I was like, okay, cool. But now that it's a lot cheaper, I'm like, it definitely caught my eye. So I grabbed some last week as well. So I filled 68, I filled 75, I think I filled some 70s. But I'm definitely accumulating this one. Now, if you look at the chart here, it's been moving up for, I think it's had like 9 or 10 green days, which is pretty amazing. The fact that it's just getting locked up. So this one actually, the float is only about 3 million shares. So 3 million shares locks this float, and I'll show you what they have coming. It's pretty cool. But you can see accumulation's all-time high. Now, if we switch, we look at the outside chart, as you can see here, it did go up to almost $4, $3.75, kind of came down. MACD is looking primed, a lot of nice volume grouping here, kind of is pushing through. It looks like the next level it might push through is, $1 into $1.25. So the reason being, so UMGP, and I'll put here, good morning, our team at Universal Media, wants to thank investors for reaching out with questions about our new ventures. We have multiple updates over the next few weeks, including PRs to highlight our substantial progress concerning our uplisting, new shows, and M&A, mergers and acquisitions. So it sounds like they might be acquiring more companies. It's hard to say, but this is when it gets really cool. So I didn't know that Rashad Evans, UFC, Hall of Famer, basically, he's been, working with Metatoads, and I'm not sure if he's the CEO, the founder. Yeah, I know. I'll look more into that. Sorry. But let's go in here and click Sugar Rashad Evans. So he actually said, let's pull it all the way down here. Ding, ding, ding. Okay, so good morning, our team at Unity wants to thank. Okay, so Rashad Evans, the Rashad Evans, said, excited to be working with CEO Mike Sherman and UMGP on Metatoads Gang, and some other exciting projects. Exciting details will be released soon. So that's like, what? That's awesome. And the coolest thing is a good friend of mine, ARX Trader, Rashad actually retweeted his tweet. And so ARX originally said UFC connections, and now Sean Kelly, a lot of applications for NFT could come in the future, and UMGP is set up to prime spot for production. So if you don't know who Sean Kelly is, he's, Forbes has said he's, future superstar. And then the funny thing was, Rashad Evans retweeted it. So, he retweeted saying Sean Kelly's the master NFT space making, So, and I want to go back real quick to, let's pull back to UMGP. So they said back in, March, with an unexpected value increase, our assets along with positive movement for multiple projects, UMGP is going to bypass an uplist to OTCQB and immediately work towards uplisting to NASDAQ. So they have a big future. They have things in the works. I'm not sure if they're going to have a deal with UFC, which would just be fantastic. If they do that, the stock's going straight up. Doesn't even matter. So definitely check that one out. I'll cover that one again a little bit more, so I'm going to be accumulating that one. But just looking from the outside in, being that it's still under $1, this could see anywhere from 300 to 500% increases. When news starts rolling in, especially with Rashad Evans, just retweeting them, and then if Sean Kelly comes on board, whatever they're working, it's just going to be huge. So check that one out. Next one I want to talk about is RMRK, covered in an older video, and it's taking a little bit longer than normal to get the news out, but as you can see, trailing flagging here. It's got good support, no dilution, it's strong accumulation. Now on Friday it tended to get a little bit more volume out of nowhere. I don't know why. I'm still holding some, but as we look back, they did say June 23rd, good afternoon shareholders, the CEO has been working hard on this deal for over a year. So he's been working on this deal for over a year, and it sounds to me like it's big. Maybe there's been a lot in the works, maybe there's been an audit, who knows. We'll have to find out once they announce it. But news will be released via official Twitter page and relevant PR channels. Stay tuned, stay blessed. So this is definitely one to accumulate, because no dilution, and as soon as that news hits, if it's big enough, he's been working on a year, it's going to fly. So, if you can get under 002, awesome. If not, I think I even grabbed some more on Friday. But, we'll see what happens with that one. So it's definitely one to keep an eye on. Next one, HIRU. Talked about this for probably a month now. We were grabbing teams 0015, 0016, 0018. I've even averaged up. I was buying 30s and 40s. But if you had grabbed back then the original video, you're up 200% plus right now. So this is definitely exciting. It's riding the 8MA all the way up. As you can see, it wicked down and tested it, but they have so much going on behind the pipelines. So as we work through here, they're constantly working. But, they met with Mr. Zepter, who's a billionaire, and then they have that Walmart meeting this week, July 6th. So we might see a PR on that one as well. It might take a couple days, but, this one's just been fantastic. And the reason I'm putting this one out is because it was so cheap. I like to talk about, hey, look, these stocks at 002, they get accumulated, and then they have tons of news in the pipeline. If they have news in the pipeline, you can swing them longer. You don't have to swing them for a week and say, okay, news is dead, they're going to go back to where they are. These are companies you can invest a large amount in and just watch it continuously grow. So same thing, accumulation's good, riding the 8MA. They have tons of news in the works, tons of news coming, so loving it. The next one, this is a sleeper. So this is IFXY. And if you kind of base out of here, it's basically been churning between 27, let's call it 34, for quite a while now. Let's say a month, 2 months. Accumulation still all-time high. Now, this one, the actual merger is finally set to close the middle of July. Once that closes, they will become more active on Twitter. They'll have more communication. They have a lot in the works. So this is the first, from what I understand, first OTC company that's going to bring revenues on board without dilution. Basically the CEO is bringing in his own company, saying, hey, we got this. So I'm going to use Super Robot here for a minute. So he always brings out awesome DD. So if you're not following him, definitely do so. But they have multiple acquisitions they're going to have in the works. BOD founder of VXIT. Clients include Honda, Mountain Dew, new startup, Todito FinTech project, up to 75 million revs. The one they're bringing on is MePulpe, the first merger. 22 million revs in 2021. They're aiming for 40 million in 2022 projected. And then he has the triple merger DD, basically saying if he's going to bring in all of his companies under this umbrella, per se, it's going to explode. If he starts hammering off, say, hey, we're working on this, we're going to acquire more companies, this thing is not going to stay under a penny. So the CEO owns most of the OS, basically. And as you can see, accumulation all-time high, still trading around 0033, 032. So I think anything under 0035 is going to print. So look for that to start climbing in the next 2 weeks. I love this one. And I've had people ask me, they're like, hey man, I can't exactly just buy something and swing it in for a day or two. What's a good thing to get in and wait a month or two as it develops? And I think this is a perfect example. With no dilution, if you can get low 30s, it should see 50, 60, 70s. If he starts hammering off deals, penny, 2 penny, who knows where it's going to go. But it kind of reminds me of HIRU in the earlier stages. So once that merger completes and they start just hammering off saying, hey, we have this PRs left and right, it's going to fly. You know what I mean? So shark it, grab the blood, go from there. But yeah, Super Robot, he's just been killing it with the DD. Pretty much saved me a lot of time, going through it. So definitely check him out. Check all the DD on IFXY. The next one, so these are two I'm going to talk about I do not own. CHNC, and I don't know why. I've just never really liked the stock. Not sure, maybe because they weren't as active on social media, and I like that. I like to have communication. But it made a nice move on Friday, and I was like, what is going on here? And I hear a lot of people talking about a lot of buzz. So I looked into it, and I'll pull up their Twitter here. So the company said that, we'll go through, and Dante basically says, you can read it yourself. I'm not going to read you their whole newsletter. That, they're working on an audit, should have the audit done on the 1st of July, or, they're working on the 1st. But from what I hear through the channels is once the audit is done, they're going to have an announcement. I think there's a shareholder call middle of July. So I don't even know, but I'm grabbing some. So, I'll bid, I'll slab, doesn't matter what it's going to take, because, just looking at the chart, it's basically bottomed. It kind of moved, legged up a little bit, and then between all of these, the 8, the 21, the 50, it's still in that range. So if I can get some teens, I will. But, from the looks of it, it's starting to heat up pretty good. But I'll definitely be grabbing some of that next week. So same thing, accumulation all-time high. Let me pull this up here. I think somebody, so fundamentals trading. So he basically said, CHNC, here's a little bit of DD for it. They had big increase in sales. They're near 52-week lows. They're operating in over 100 countries. Number of employees doubled. Connections with major pharma, magazines, many languages, upcoming name change, S1 filing, uplisting. So they have a lot in the work. So same thing. I was like, wow, I can't believe this was under the radar for so long. I'm grabbing some. I do not own it. I will be buying it. So, same thing, keep an eye on that one. And the next one, this one just pains me to the core, is VXIT. So I was actually in this stock when it was a shell, PVDG. I had a 0.0022 average, and, I sold half of it around a penny. I think I sold another quarter around 2 cents. And then, basically ran up to 12 cents where, I was holding my portion long, my half. Or no, I had 25% left, and then base started coming down to like 8 cents, 7 cents, and FUD created and all that. So got rid of it. I think I didn't end up selling it till like 3 cents. So I missed out on some profit, but it was a big mover for a lot of people. So it's starting to heat up again. Accumulation still looks good, and coming off bottom, it's had several green days. Looking here at the 200 MA at 0.04, pushed through that, closed above it. So I'm going to see kind of the volume and the action, but I definitely want to get into this one. So as you can see here, in the New York week, so this was June 28th, looking to close additional acquisitions, meeting with investment bankers today, hoping to provide more updates this week as they become available. And then he said, good afternoon. We are pleased to announce a new company website will be coming online shortly to better reflect our incoming acquisitions. 2 of them, plural. Or 3, or 4, or 10, or 50, who knows. So it's exciting because it's speculative. So because it's coming off bottom, it's a good share structure, and what is it, like 0.04 now? So that kind of reminds me, same thing of HIRU. So they have a lot of acquisitions in the works. There's things in the pipeline that, are basically saying, hey, we're going to keep increasing. So this might run back to a penny, 2 pennies. So we'll see what they can provide us and, what kind of news they have coming. But I saw it at like 0.024. I didn't buy it. Saw it at 0.028. I didn't buy it. And I saw it at 32, at 38. And that was, what is it, 48? Like, you kidding me? Come on. But that's what happens when you're sleeping at the wheel. You're paying attention. 47. So, I'll probably sit around here, maybe 38 to 40, depending on how long those acquisitions take to announce. It could take a little while, but, very interested in that one. I hope I can get a dip. If not, I'll definitely be slapping with you guys. But, excited to see what VXIT can kind of bring together, just because it is an older stock that we used to have. And, it seems they might be turning things around.
So the final one that I'm going to talk about today is kind of an opportunity stock because nobody knows what's happening. So it's GEGI, we wrote it up from the first time. We got, I think 16, 17, and then, kept it all the way up. I kept 25% of what I originally had. Just, I was like, oh, I'm going to go long, and then it just started fading back down. I'm like, oh, it's a bummer. But, as you can see here, it filled the gap, and, it's basically been coming down. Volume's been dying off a little bit, but it did have a nice day on Friday. So looking at it, the past few tweets they had were, let's see here. Thanks for everybody's support. We put out official news next week. This is our new Twitter account. And then, I've been totally impressed with GEGI's shareholder base and their support. Look forward to the future. And then they hired Kevin Demoa, who's got, SpaceX expertise. He's got a really nice background. But then they've been quiet. They posted this about some article and so forth. So, the reason I say that it's opportunity is just because, we don't know what's going to happen. But if this company tweets, does something happens, it's going to fly because there's already kind of a cult forming behind it. There's a lot of good shareholders that are saying, hey, I'm buying the dip, but it needs to be pink current. So it is still yield. I think he needs another eternity letter, so I'm going to have to look more into that. But, it's, I think that's what everybody's kind of nervous about. Like, once they go pink, I think the announcements will come. So I'm not sure if it was maybe legal or, maybe a BOD. Somebody said, hey, no announcements until pink. So they've been quiet since then. So I think he kind of got ahead of himself a little bit. So I like that one as an opportunity. Same thing. If you can get in the teens, 17, 16, I mean, this thing was down to 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 before anything even happened. So it's a good opportunity that you could get a 2, 3, 4, 500% runner when things starts to go. Kind of reminds me of like a CYBL earlier in the, its time, where they're like, oh, we have multiple acquisitions coming. We're going to build this huge shell, or, we're going to build this huge platform of drones and all kinds of stuff. So just wanted to cover those today. So GCLT, this thing has just been insane. Hats off to chairman. He's just been pushing this thing, riding the horse. Cavalry came behind it, buying all the dips. So keep an eye on that one, especially with the interview coming up. UMGP, this thing was $3-4 almost, and then recently went down into like 20s, 30s. I started grabbing 50s, 60s, or 60s, 70s. So that could be exciting. They have Rashad Evans. So not only that, but the CEO actually is friends with who's he friend? Like, so many pictures. I'll probably have to post them in another video when I do all the due diligence on it. But he was Mike Tyson, Nate Diaz. So the CEO definitely has connections, and if they get into works with UFC, it's somehow, whether if they do NFTs for him, marketing, advertising, huge. It's going to just erupt. So I like that one as well. They have a bunch of major announcements coming. And then we talked about RMRK, great one as well. Let's look out for that big 1 year merger LOI that they've been working on. HIRU, it's just been my baby, grinding all the way up. And then IFXY, probably my biggest sleeper. I think this one is my most confident that you could literally buy now, and no matter what, you're going to, go green. So I really like that one. And CHNC, definitely going to be adding that one on Tuesday, along with VXIT. So just wanted to cover those with you guys. Make sure you drop, like on the video. Shoot me a comment, what you're looking at. Help me find a name for this guy, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.